Great people, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah and I'm very happy to have you on board. So this is lesson 13 on Django and we are going to talk about the Postgresql. But then before I begin, please take a minute, subscribe, like and share the video to your friends, and to the returning subscribers, I really appreciate you very much for your support. Now without further ado, let's begin straight away and let's talk about the database engines in a few. Of course, we are going to focus on the Postgresql, but then let me just try to highlight some of the database engines that Django can handle. So guys, basically Django usually come with a SQLite database, which is great for testing and debugging at the very beginning of a project. However, it's not very suitable for production. So we have a very powerful database engines like Postgresql, of which we are going to discuss it today. But then also we have MariaDB, we also have MySQL, we also have Oracle. Basically, these are the database engines that are supported in Django. But then let me now focus on Postgresql, and the Postgresql database is an open source relational database which should cover most demands you have when creating a database for a project. So the reason why we are opting for Postgresql is that it has a good reputation. It is reliable and it performs well under most circumstances. So we are going to add Postgresql database to our Django project in a few. And then to be able to use Postgresql in Django, we have to install a package called PyPG2. Remember, for me, I've already installed, but then let me just show you how to install it. So open your File Explorer and then navigate to your project directory. Mine is at the desktop. Then here, basically guys, you can always use the CD, but then for me, I always find it easier to type in the file path here. Just type cmd, but then you can use CD to navigate your project directory. And then here, just type in scripts, then a backslash, and then what you do, type in activate.bat, and then what you're gonna do here, guys, let's now the virtual environment is now activated. So let's now install what these PyPG2. So to install it, you're gonna type in py. Basically, to download it, to install it on the same directory in this virtual environment, and then here let's say space, and then m, then a pip. Remember, pip is a package manager which we use it to install such packages. Then I type in PyPG2, and then a space binary. Space then as a binary. Then what you do, just hit enter, just click enter, and then give it time to install. Remember, for me, I've already installed, but then also still there's an error somewhere here. So you see that there's a non command there. So what you do, let's try to, basically guys, we should add install pip space install, should be install PyPG2 binary, and then let's hit enter to install that package. For me, I've already installed that, so it says requirement already satisfied. But then for you, it is gonna install it if it's your first time. Now basically, this PyPG2 package is a driver that is necessary for Postgresql to work in Python. So we also need a server where we can host the database. And in this tutorial, we have chosen Amazon Web Services, a platform. And guys, let me show you how to create an account on Amazon Web Services, or rather how to log in, how to use Amazon Web Services. So what you have to do, guys, basically before that, there are many other providers out there that you can host Django projects and Postgresql databases. But then in this tutorial, we'll use Amazon Web Services, mainly because they offer a free solution that can host both Django projects and Postgresql databases. All you need is just an account. But then a quick one, you can choose whatever server provider you like. They'll most likely give you all the certifying results. but they will have some provider specific setting that you should be aware or you should be aware of. But then for now, let's focus on this AWS. So just type in AWS and then aws.amazon.com. Then what you do, hit enter, and then remember, for me, I already have accounts here. So guys, for you are going to create an account, and it might take some times, but then for me, I already have an account. So let me just sign in. Let me just sign in. And then guys, basically when you sign in to the that AWS management console, you'll have this kind of an interface. Probably you'll have some items here at the bottom, but then for me, I've already created some some databases. That's why these ones are available here. But then just search for RDS, because we are gonna use RDS. Basically we will be using a database service at AWS called RDS, of which just type RDS. Remember, for me it's available here. For you it might be here at the bottom, or if it's not available, just type RDS. Just type RDS, and then what you do, click on it, and then give it some time to open. And then guys, you can opt to create databases on this at the end, or rather you can just click on this create database. So guys, basically once you have started creating a database, you'll be given these choices for the type and the setting for your database. And basically, to add a Postgresql database in your Django project, you have to choose basically, first of all, these are standard. We're going to choose these as standard. Then we're going to use a Postgre. You can opt for MySQL, but then if you want to follow along this tutorial, just go to a Postgresql. And then what else? Here, ensure that you are at the free tier here. Select this one. And then what else? Let's scroll down. And then what we do, the database instance identifier, we can give it. Perhaps let me just give it something like let me say name tag, and then space, perhaps project, name tag space project, and then master username. Master username, basically we can do it. We can just leave it the way it is, as or rather, let me just say let me call it, sorry, here let me just call it master user. Master user. Let me call it a master user, and then master user. And then what I do, guys, let me do this. Let me create here a password, and then I'm gonna use a very simple one for the sake of tutorial. Also for security purposes, remember this database I'll just delete at the end of this tutorial. So just I'm gonna use 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then confirm password again 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, a very simple one. And then leave it the way it is by default. Perhaps you can allocate 200, or you can just leave it the way it is. Remember, we don't have a lot of data. You can enable storage auto scaling. However, we don't need for this tutorial, because we don't have such many stuffs here. And then here, ensure that you select public access. Ensure that public access is checked for it to connect to your database. And then here you can create new a new VPS security group. I can give it let me give it what name tag, and then VPS the security group. And then the other stuffs leave the way they are. Perhaps limits here port number, you might take note of the port number. It is 5432. On your end, I don't know what is it, but then here everything leave it the way they are. Then here at additional configuration, perhaps you can give it the name. Perhaps let me say test space nametag, test space nametag, and then perhaps let me say project. Let me say project, or you can just give it any name, or perhaps let it be the way, or let me just use a simple one like let me just say test. Don't want to complicate these stuffs. And then what you do, you can decide to enable encryption, but then for this tutorial I don't see, but then for your end ensure that it is checked, or let me just check it. And then what you do here, everything leave it the way they are. Then I do at click on create database. Click on create the database. So guys, basically it's going to take some minutes. It's going to take some minutes to create the database depending on the date and such stuff. So guys, basically when it continues to create, perhaps let's navigate to our project, actually to this VS Code. Then guys, let's try to do it. Let's try to create some setting here, to configure some settings here. Guys, basically navigate to the settings.py and then find the database section, and then here database, leave it the way they are. Then guys, perhaps let me just try to duplicate this section, or rather let me do this. Let me delete this one. Remember our default one is SQLite, but then here let me just delete here. Sorry, let me just delete here. It should be now Postgresql. Should be post. Remember default one was, let me undo first of all. The default one, the simple one was SQLite 3, but then what I do, we are gonna change it to the new one, which is the database engine, which is Postgresql. And then here the name. Also, let me guys try to do it. Let me try to duplicate this section, perhaps to make them perhaps several stars like this. Then here I'm gonna change it to the user. Remember in caps, user. And then what is here we are gonna change it to password. And then here I'm gonna change it to host. And then lastly we are gonna change it to a port. And then what you do, guys, remember the name we gave it. I think it was test. We will change if it will not work. And the test, it was test for me. And then the user we said master user. And then what is password? We gave it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And then the host in the port. Well, let's check. You can find the host in the port. Guys, I think it's still creating the database. But then let me check if it's available. Yeah, guys, you can see it's now ready. So the port number is 5432. Let me copy and do it. Let me just paste it here. And then the host now is provided this endpoint here. Just copy this code here. These are URL or the lines of code. And then what you do, just paste it here. And just paste it there. And then what we are gonna do, guys, let's try to do it. Let's try to collect these items. Actually, basically, for these projects to work, we need to migrate. So that the changes may take place in these settings. But then I think the database still creating. I don't know if it will work. But then let's just try. If it fails, we'll try again. So what I do, guys, let me say what. Let me first of all navigate my project directory, or rather it is already open. I can see the terminal here. It is opened here. And then what I'm gonna do, guys, here let me just type in what py manage.py, manage.py, then let me say migrate. Migrate, then let me do it. Let me hit enter so that it may configure some changes there. And then guys, basically you can see it is now applying migration. So guys, it will take some time, but then at the end of it, it will do what it will apply migration to every settings there. And then what you do, let's try to run the server. Let's try to run the server by typing py manage.py, then let's say run server, basically to run the server, then hit enter, and then let's wait for it to open. Then let me just copy this URL. Let me copy the URL, and then let me sorry guys, let me redo. Let me copy the URL, then again let me paste it here at the top. So guys, basically you can see now the project. When you click on these members, you'll find that there are no members in this project of ours. When you click, you can see there's no members here. Basically, we have to create a new member. And guys, basically, I remember the old SQLite database containing at least, I think it was around 6 members. So we have to dive into the admin interface and add some other members, perhaps 5 again. But we have to create a new super users first of all. So what I'm gonna do, guys, to create a super user, first of all, let's break let's break this server by clicking on Ctrl+C or Control break. And then what you are gonna do, guys, is just type py manage.py, then create super user combined. Remember, create super user is combined. Then what you do, just hit enter, and then here you're gonna type in what you're gonna type in your username. Perhaps let me say name tag. Let me just say name tag, and then password. First of all, email address. Let me type in my email address. Let me type in my email address at and then what is for password? For password, let me type in what? Let me type in name tag, and then what is name tag 1 2 3. I don't know if it will work. Let me see again. Name tag 1 2 3. Then what to do? What I do, let me just say yes. Let me click Y for yes, and then let me hit enter. And then again, basically we have created a super user successfully. So let's run the server again by typing manage.py run server. Then what you do here, what you're gonna do, guys, let's navigate to the browser, and then here, then let's add in / but is it this is / right? And then type in admin, type in admin, and then what to do, hit enter, and then in this admin interface, I'm gonna type in what name tag. Let me say name tag, or let me just select name tag. Then my password, I think it was, we said name tag name tag. Let me try again. Remember, this is not my password, just for the sake of tutorial. And then let's try to log in. So let me update it. And then guys, basically to add members, just click on these members, then I click on add member, click on add member, and then what we do, member 1. First of all, member 1, perhaps the first name, let me say Nehemiah, Nehemiah Wekesa, then at the number was that one. Then at the date, let me just choose today's. Then let me save and then add another. Because I want us to add at least 5 fields. Let me add at least 5 fields. And then what we do here, let's give it time to save and create a new one. Perhaps let me say, let me say Abigail. Abigail should be Abigail. Then perhaps Cherotich. And then a phone number, perhaps let me choose this one. Then a date again, let's choose today's. And then let me save, and then also I'm gonna create the second one, basically the third one. I'm gonna take some seconds to save, but then let's create another one. Perhaps let me say John Django. And then phone number, let me just choose, remember this is just for the sake of tutorial, I can choose any. And then what do I do? Let me save and add another one. Let me save and add another one. And then again here, let me do it. Let me add perhaps let me say Ronald Wekesa, perhaps. Then date, let me choose yesterday's. And then let me save and then add another one. Let me save and add another one. And then I think when we add the last one, it will be 5, I think. Basically, you can add as many as you want. But then let me just say perhaps Mercy Wambui. And then phone number, let me just select this one. And then let me save. Let me now save and close. And then I think we have 5 members also. If not, you can just add as many as you want on your end. But then let me do this. Let me just save them, and then let's see the list of our members. So guys, basically you can see we have at least 5 members. So now let's navigate to, let me now close, actually go to the main root directory. Then actually that is a port number, the default root directory. Then now guys, basically now when we click on members, and then guys, basically you'll find out that we have several members. Like you can see we have Nehemiah. When you click, you can see when we click on Nehemiah, we can get the details. Then let's return, and then let's do it. Let's again go to the members. Perhaps Abigail Cherotich. When we click on her, we'll get her details. And then when we go to someone else, perhaps John Django, we will still get what the details. So guys, basically this is what I wanted to show you in this tutorial, and I think you've gained something. Now guys, please consider subscribing, like and share the video to your friends. In my next tutorial, I'll show you how to deploy your project. So until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye. Please subscribe first of all before you go. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. Goodbye.